Hey everyone, what's up? It's Jacob here, and we're back with another recap video. Christmas is right around the corner, and with that comes a bunch of traditions that most of us should love, like giving and receiving gifts, decorating the house, even baking Christmas cookies. But Christmas is just so much more than just the traditions. It's about celebrating the birth of Jesus, which is the greatest gift of all. And today we're going to be talking about the birth of Jesus, but also the hope about his birth. And for us to understand this hope of Christmas, this hope of Jesus, we need to go way back to the Old Testament. If you didn't know, in the Old Testament, there were about 200 to 400 prophecies about Jesus. Now, not all of them were about his birth, but many of them were. And because from the very beginning, God's plan was to prepare us for a Savior. You see, even in Genesis chapter 3, right after sin entered the world, God gave his first prophecy about Jesus. In chapter 3, verse 15, it says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." See, this is about Jesus. God here was already pointing to us that we would have hope in him. If we were to fast forward to the time of the prophets and we would see even more promises of the coming Savior. During this time, they used the word Messiah, which means anointed one or chosen one. A couple examples, if we were to look in the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 1 says, "Behold, my servant whom I uphold, my chosen, in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He will bring forth justice to the nations." If we fast forward to chapter 61, here it describes the Messiah as one who brings good news, who heals the brokenhearted and sets the captives free. These weren't just abstract ideas. They were specific promises. You see, the Israelites were waiting for someone to deliver them, to restore what was broken, and that someone was Jesus. But I'm sure all of us can say that waiting for hope can be hard. And see, the Israelites struggled with this too. They were promised a Messiah, but generations passed without seeing him. By the end of the Old Testament, there was this 400-year period of silence, which meant there was no prophets, no messages from God. And for the Israelites, it must have felt like their hope was lost. And I'm sure in some way we all can relate to this. As a kid, I would remember sneaking to see my Christmas presents because I couldn't wait. And because of this, I had to learn to trust my parents and their promise that what they got for me was what I was waiting for the next morning. And see, it's the same with God. Even when we can't see what he's doing, his promises remain true. And this is what the Israelites had to walk through. And I think the best part here is that we know that God's promises never fail. In Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, it says, "Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel." See, we know that this prophecy was fulfilled in the birth of Jesus. God kept his promise, and through Jesus, hope was restored, not just for the Israelites, but for all of us. So as we celebrate Christmas this year, I want us to all remember this. Jesus is the ultimate gift of hope. From the very beginning, God's plan was to bring us back to him through the Messiah. No matter what you're waiting for or what challenges you're facing, know this: God's promises never fail. And we don't have to put our hope in the outcome of our circumstances, but we can put our hope in Jesus, because that is where our hope is truly found. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We would love if you guys would share, subscribe, do what all you can with this recap video, and we will see you next time, guys.